When therapy ends, faith begins. What do Stoicism and gods will teach us about pain? Have you ever wondered why two people can experience the same tragedy, yet one is destroyed by it while the other grows stronger? Today, we're exploring a question that has challenged humanity for centuries. Is receiving therapy enough, or do we also need to learn to accept the will of God? Let's begin with an important truth. Therapy is not the enemy of faith. A good therapist can help us understand trauma, regulate emotions, recognize unhealthy thought patterns, and develop healthier ways of living. It is a valuable tool, and for many people, it can be a life-changing experience. But therapy has limits. A therapist cannot erase the death of your child. A counselor cannot prevent your spouse from asking for a divorce. No number of psychological techniques can change a medical diagnosis, reverse aging, or stop the reality that every person we love will someday leave this world. Sooner or later, every human being reaches a place where the question is no longer, how do I fix this? Instead, it becomes, how do I live with what cannot be changed? This is where Stoicism and faith surprisingly meet. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught that peace comes from learning to distinguish between what is within our control and what is not. The Bible teaches something remarkably similar. God doesn't promise that His children will avoid suffering. Instead, He teaches us to trust Him even when suffering enters our lives. Consider the story of Job. He lost his wealth. He lost his children. He lost his health. His friends tried to explain his pain with human reasoning, but they failed. Only when Job accepted that God's wisdom was greater than his own did he begin to find peace. Notice that Job's circumstances did not immediately improve because he understood everything. They improved because his heart changed before his situation did. Think about everyday life. A husband discovers that after 20 years of marriage, his wife wants a divorce. He can spend years asking, why did this happen? Or he can grieve, learn, forgive, and trust that God can still give purpose to the years ahead. A mother loses her son in a tragic accident. No words remove that pain. Therapy may help her process grief, but only faith can give hope that death is not the final chapter. Someone is diagnosed with cancer. The treatments are necessary. The doctors do everything possible. But alongside medicine comes another decision. Will I live every day consumed by fear? Or will I entrust my future to God, even if I don't know the outcome? This doesn't mean pretending pain doesn't exist. Even Jesus wept at the tomb of Lazarus. Faith never asks us to deny our emotions. It asks us not to let our emotions become our master. Stoicism teaches emotional discipline. Christianity teaches surrendered trust. Together they remind us that suffering is inevitable, but despair is not. There is another danger in our modern culture. We often believe that happiness depends on controlling every circumstance. We expect perfect relationships, perfect health, perfect careers, perfect children. And when life refuses to cooperate, we assume something has gone terribly wrong. But perhaps the greatest freedom comes when we stop demanding that life obey us. Acceptance is not weakness. Acceptance is courage. It is the courage to say the following: I do not understand this loss. I would never have chosen this path. But I trust that God sees what I cannot. This mindset changes everything. Instead of asking, why me? We begin by asking, what can this experience teach me? Instead of becoming bitter, we become wiser. Instead of being defined by suffering, we are refined through it. Therapy can help heal the mind, but surrendering to God's will transforms the heart. One helps us understand ourselves. The other helps us trust the one who understands everything. Perhaps the greatest peace is not found when life finally makes sense. Perhaps it is found when we stop demanding answers and begin trusting God's wisdom. Because the strongest person is not the one who never cries. It is the one who can cry, stand back up, and still say, Lord, your will be done. If this message encourages you, share it with someone walking through pain. And remember, you cannot always choose what happens to you. But with God's help, you can choose who you become because of it.